Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, JuJu's Journey. Today's been an emotional day. Anyway, let me introduce myself. I'm JuJu. I'm 57. I'm a widow for a little over a year now. It's this channel is about my journey of trying to live by myself, do all things by myself, learn how to live again after my husband passed away. Today's been a day. I cried. I had to take my little Gabby girl in this morning at 7:30 to get her teeth cleaned. And of course, I knew they would probably extract some teeth. In December, she was diagnosed with a heart murmur, and they said it was probably coming from her mouth. And so I had to make a decision on, to do this. But then leading up to this, my daughter, who originally Gabby was her dog, decided she kept looking up things on the internet, talking about, when she gets excited, she coughs, heart murmur, things like that. She didn't know if she should be put under. She's less than 10 pounds and she's 11 years old. Got a tiny, tiny little tiny mouth. And so this morning before she went to work, she called and she was giving me a hard time, like, make sure you ask the doctor this and make sure you ask that and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I told her, stop, because I was nervous. Well, she hung up on me. And then she called me back in 10 minutes and said she was sorry, but she was nervous. And, of course, we both were. You've got to understand, this little dog has been my little support dog. I mean, we've always had gigantic dogs. When I say gigantic, like golden retrievers. And we've never had a little tiny dog. And when we got this little tiny dog, her only job in the whole entire world is to love us. She would split her time. She would go to bed with my daughter, but we would always wake up with her in the bed with us. And then once we got up, she was back in the bed with my daughter. She just wanted to share her love. Her daddy, my husband, loved her so much. Loved her so much. I loved her so much. But after he passed away, it was just me and little Gabby girl. My golden retriever stays outside. We tried to make him an indoor dog, but he just can't handle it. He gets too hot, too excited. So he stays in for just a little bit, and then he goes back out. And he's happy there. He's got cats that sleep with him and all the things, and then a heated porch. He's fine. But, so anyway, I took her at 7:30. I told them my concerns. Of course, they said after her procedure, they'd call. But then I would pick her up between like 3:30. Between like, I think 3 and 3:30 is when to come back and pick her up. Well, we didn't get a phone call. My daughter, in between patients, she's a dental hygienist, called every hour to see had I heard anything. And then 1 o'clock lunch comes. That's her lunch break. Still, we have not heard anything. So she called the vet and asked about her, and they said they were doing the procedure then. So I was quoted in December that this procedure was going to be anywhere between $600 and $800. And that was just to go put her under and do the procedure. But if she had to have any teeth extracted, then it would probably be higher than that. And that was quoted by a vet that I'd never met before. And so I was prepared, but when I they called me to let me know she was out of surgery. I asked if they extracted any teeth, and they said, yeah, quite a bit. And I was thinking, oh, Lord, this is going to be so expensive. But they said she did great. But, so I decided, okay, I was supposed to go pay, on the 20th. It was due on the 20th. But my car insurance and my house insurance combined total, I've got a car, a side-by-side, in my house. My insurance was going to be like $5,800 and some odd dollars. And then I was also going to have to, of course, pay this vet bill, which in my mind was going to probably be close to $1,000. So when I picked my granddaughter up from school, I hot-tailed it to the insurance company. And I said, okay, what can we do? And my bill went up a lot. And my deductible on my house was only $500 because we were grandfathered in. We had insurance with them forever, the same policy. So she did her little configuration, and I told her that I'd read that if your deductible's not so low, then, I could probably get my insurance lower if my deductible was a little higher. They don't offer $500 deductibles any longer. So she did that. She asked me if we had had a new roof since the year 2000. I said yes. And she worked her little magic and saved me $1,100. And then I go pick up my little Gabby girl. And I said, I'll pay before I get her. That way, I won't have to hold her and try to pay. And she's going to be excited. And it was only $638. I was like, wow. Because I had in my head that I was going to pay close to $1,000. But I did get $100 off because they were offering a special for the month of February for teeth cleaning. So I got my $100 off and paid that. So I feel like I got her teeth done for free. And I saved $300 on my house insurance. That's the way I did it. But I was determined that if today's going to be a bad spending day, I'm just going to get it over with. And then not have to look forward to writing out, well, I didn't write a check, but paying that amount again, in a couple of days. I was like, no, we're going to kill all of these expenses today and be done with it. And so it worked out really good. But when I say it's been a very bad day, after I dropped her off this morning, I kept thinking, what would my husband do? Like, we always made these decisions together. And this was a major decision I had to make on my own. Like, is it too dangerous to put her under with her little heart murmur and blah, 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 And then I was like, well, her heart murmur is coming from her teeth. So if we don't get that fixed, then her heart's going to get worse. So I don't know. I just, of course, made the decision to have it done. But I just, I started crying. And then I got mad. And I said, I can't do this by myself. I said, I can't do this. It's not fair. You should be here. Of course, I was calling my husband's name. And I just had 10 minutes of bad. And then, of course, I had to go take a shower and get dressed and go to the grocery store. I had to go get gas. I had all these things I had to do. And I did it. And then ended up going and getting my insurance taken care of, which was good. And went and picked up Gabby, and she was good. And the vet told me that the reason they did her surgery at a later time, waited and didn't do it first thing this morning, was because of her heart murmur. He wanted to make sure that he was only that was his only priority. He wouldn't have any distractions, and that she did great. And the teeth that he had to remove were not any of her teeth that she would use to eat with. So she should be completely fine, still eating her normal diet. And he also said that usually when he has to extract teeth, that the teeth are kind of scattered out. So then in like a year, then they usually have to extract a few more teeth. And so he said he didn't think that was going to happen. He thinks that the rest of her teeth would be fine. And I guess they're spaced enough that, nothing can really get stuck like they were. So I'm excited. And he said that I didn't realize that she could have those. I didn't even know they really existed. The dental plaque things, he said she could start eating those in like 2 weeks. So today ended up starting out being a bad day, and it turned into being a good day. And for that, I'm very grateful. But it was a very emotional day. It was draining. I'm going to go get in the bed with my little Gabby girl in just a little bit. And I haven't been able to see her. Usually she gets excited when she sees us and she smiles. But her mouth is so little, I hadn't tried to open it up to see which teeth are missing. But usually she'll smile. She'll do like that. And you can see all of her little teeth. And so and we call her Gabby Girl. And I said, you know what, I might have to start calling her Gummy Girl. But anyway, I called her Gummy Girl today, and then I felt bad, and I apologized to her. I told her I wasn't going to pick on her. But yeah, it's been an emotional day. And I'm sure I'm going to have lots of these. Lots of these. But the main thing is I survived. And actually good things happened today. So I can't complain about that. I had to deal with some business today that is finally happening, thank God. It wouldn't have happened had I not had to put some fire underneath some butts. But that looks like it's working out. And I'm grateful. I've talked to all of my children. And life is good. That doesn't mean I don't miss my husband. But I can still look at today and say it's a good day. And I guess that's all you can do, right? As you can tell, I've got on my pajamas. And I just got done eating with my daughter next door and my little kids, my grandchildren, my granddaughter and my grandson. And what's so funny is my grandson, his birthday is October 6th. So what is that? November, December, January. So he's like 1 year and 4 months, right? And he is so funny. He's like a little football player. That's the way he's built. He's just real. But he's the most docile, sweetest child. He's not. Then my other grandson, who's only 4 months older, he's like a little tiny ball of dynamite. And he is just as tough and rough as you can imagine. He's the one with the heart problems, but he's tough and 90 miles an hour or maybe 100 miles an hour. And it's just funny how they're so different. And like my daughter's son next door, like his fingers are so big and his hands are so big and he's just so much bigger than my other grandson. But he's just so calm and laid back and cool. So last night, whenever I was leaving, I said, bye. And it was just me and him. And he said, bye. And so I said, bye again. And he said, bye. Just like that, in that same voice. So today, whenever my daughter was going back to work, she was telling me bye. And she said, bye. And I just told that story. I said, last night he said, bye. And so anyway, she was like, bye. And he goes, bye. It was the cutest thing ever. If his voice, I think it's because he's got this crud that everybody has. I hope that's why. But if he doesn't, and what was the little kid? There was some show where the little kid talked like that. Like if that's going to be his little voice for a while, it's going to be hilarious. You know? I don't know. It's just so funny. So funny. But, oh, my eyelashes are stuck together. But yeah, all in all, it's a good day. I knew I was going to have to pay this. And the good thing is I saved up for it, right? I had that emergency vet envelope from last year, and it was sitting in my checking account. And, well, actually, it was in my high yield savings account, so I've got to transfer that over. But, and the same thing with my house insurance and my car insurance. I had saved for it. I was a little shy, I will tell you that. I didn't save quite enough, but I was close to it with the savings that I'd saved. I mean, I had enough. And so that I am very grateful. But I am so grateful that I got $1,000 off. And it was worth it. So if y'all have high insurance and you've had the same insurance for years, you might be able to go in and find yourself a break. My deductible's higher, but I'll recoup that money just in 2 years, you know? Well, less than 2 years, a year and a half. So if I do not have to file a claim, it's going to pay for itself. So now I just need to make sure we keep being smart, right? I could have just gone in and paid it and gone about my business, but I said, no, it doesn't hurt to ask. See, my husband probably wouldn't have asked. He probably would have just run in and paid it. Y'all, I showed y'all where I crimped my hair, right? Or that you know? Well, I didn't wash my hair this morning because I did that yesterday, and my hair's so dry. When your hair turns gray, it gets dry. That's a thing. And so anyway, I tried to get that crimp out my hair today, and it still didn't work. But that was the funniest thing. I'm still not going to give up on that crimper, though. I'm going to figure it out. That was the funniest thing I think I've ever seen in my life. I was just like a poodle. Just a poodle. I just think it's hilarious. I had to FaceTime my daughters. They were laughing. I had to FaceTime my best friend. She was laughing. And then they were sitting there trying to convince me that it really looks cute. You can, if you pull it up, it doesn't look bad. I was like, are y'all kidding me? I look like a poodle. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. It was so funny. I had no idea. It does not, like, nothing about that resembled anything like those videos that I keep seeing. And it's just funny. It's just so funny to me. It was so funny. You know, you get something and you're like, whoa. This is going to look just like their hair in those videos. I don't know. I kind of wish that everybody would just post pictures of themselves doing it, you know, like buying it and then crimping and showing the real vision. Or maybe it's just my hair. Who knows? I do have a lot of hair. I will admit that. I have so much hair. And my hair is real coarse too. So I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. But it was funny. It gave me joy. Well, I thought I would update you guys on my little puppy. She's good. My big dog, Bobo, he knew when we got home. And I have a doggy door from my kitchen to my mudroom. But he can't fit through it. He can put his head through and his two paws. But when I got Gabby home, he was trying to get through that door to her. And so tonight he busted through, like I was coming in, and he pushed right through and came into the house and went running to my bedroom, jumped on my bed with my little dog Gabby. And Gabby can't stand when he does that. And she'll just try to nip at him. But he was smelling her and he's got this hard snout. Like when he does something, I mean, he can push your whole arm out the way with his snout. He's just really strong. And he was sniffing her from head to toe. He knew she had gone to the vet. And he was just all over her. And she was just yapping. And I could not get that big dog, out. Couldn't get him off my bed. He wouldn't listen. And he normally will listen. I had a treat. He could care less about the treat. He just wanted his little Gabby girl. And finally, I got a stuffed animal and acted like, ooh, you want this, and tossed it out of my bedroom. He went running after it. I closed the bedroom door with little Gabby inside. And then let me tell you what happened. I finally get him back in the mudroom. Little Miss Gabby marches her little hiney into the kitchen and goes to the doggy door and is sitting there trying to nip at him through the door like she was still mad at him. And she never does that. So it's got to be the anesthesia, or she just must feel bad. So I went and got her back in the bed. And then you could tell she was mad at me. She wouldn't even look at me. You know how they do. They hope through their heads and they won't look at you. Then she would slant her eyes. And I'm like, well, what did I do? I didn't do anything to you. So anyway, I'm going to get off. And I'm going to turn this heat down upstairs. I ran upstairs to get my pajamas on. And I'm going to brush my teeth, wash my face, go get in the bed and watch television with my little puppy dog. My belly's full. My heart's back home, doing good. My prayers were answered. And I'm just going to go enjoy the night with my little girl and give her some special loving. And, which I've already been doing that anyway. And what am I going to do tomorrow? Oh, I do have an eBay order I need to ship. And I have got to make a car. I've got to do that first thing in the morning. I've got to call and get my car serviced. And I do need to I've got low pressure in my right front tire, but it's because it's been cold. But it's off a little bit from my other tire. I even went today where I get gas, and I have to look on my debit card. Anyway, you could use your debit card to put air in the tire. Well, I don't know what I'm doing because it sounded like the compressor came on, and I was putting air in my tire, but I don't think any air got in there, so maybe I did something wrong. Hopefully they didn't charge me for air I didn't get. My son-in-law has an air compressor. I do too, here, but I don't know where it is and all that bull. So, time slipped up on me, and they're getting my granddaughter in the bed, so I'm not going to ask him to shoot some air in it. I was going to try to do that by myself today too, but that didn't happen. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll figure it out. I couldn't see the sun, the way it was shining on the air compressor thing at the gas station, you could not read anything. So I'm sure I did something wrong. You know, I probably didn't put my PIN number in or something that I was supposed to do. But I couldn't see. Could not see. But I think that little booger, they were going to charge me $3 for air. But I was going to pay it. Beggars can't be choosy, can they? And I don't know, we don't have... I don't think we have a tire place in town that I can run and just say, can y'all shoot me some air? I'll try to figure that out. Ugh. We have one little place, I can't remember what it's called. It's not called Spanky's. Something like that. And he might put some air in my tire. But they work on cars, and they have so many cars there. I don't even know if I could get to a place where he could even squirt some air in my tire. But just one of those things. One of those things. Well, y'all have a good night. And please leave me a comment and subscribe. And give me a thumbs up. I need that. I think I'm at 38 followers. Or subscriptions. I need 50. I only need 12 more, guys. 12. You know? That'll make me so happy. But, anywho, y'all have a good night. God bless you. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile down on you and be gracious to you. And may the Lord show you his favor and give you his grace. And that is from, or give you his peace. That's from Numbers 6:24 through 26. That's my favorite Bible verse. Night, y'all. Bye.